fans listening live around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for the round the table.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Nice to see you again. This is the pod with the bods.
Hey,
This is the peeps. We got David D-Lo Logan here, the pure athlete, coming to us live.
pure shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Derek Queen for winning for Maryland, shorty. Yeah, hit the game winner.
My father said that was a travel, but that's something we're gonna address maybe off air.
Travels don't exist anymore.
Yeah, probably not. The person that said travels do not exist is Keith the Wild Man Miller. If you guys didn't pick that up.
Running down the road, trying to loosen my load.
Oh, Harden, what?
That does sound weird, but I appreciate that. And I am Pablo Aquino saying, what's poppin'? Everybody. We've had a very interesting week, I would say.
Yeah.
Both inside and out of the ring.
Yeah.
Like to say that it's not fun to say these, but there's a rest in peace to Trent Hammer.
Yeah.
And I'd seen that recently today. I was on Instagram and somebody close to him had mentioned and put a message up there. So prayers to the family of Trent Hammer. There was also somebody else. I'd have to look on my notes, but
Artist
Artest, yes.
Yeah, he's a local kid. I believe he trained down at Grindhouse, came from Ohio, died in a show, actually. And I'm not sure if he dropped dead. I'm not sure if it happened in the ring or in the back. Like, everyone who was there is pretty shell-shocked. So no one's really talking about it, but yeah. Some of the wrestlers tried to perform. I got Michael Brody, who I know personally, good dude, tried to perform CPR on him.
Damn. That's it.
Yeah,
I'd like to say rest in peace and prayers to his family as well. Lord knows it's
young kid too, in his 20s, I think. Yeah.
That is still young. That's a sucker for when he's still young. We still got playing time and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Even if they weren't young, there would have been plenty of time for plenty other things you don't know,
Yeah.
But then again, we aren't in the place to say when people come and people go, It's just to say that we're with the families that are grieving and the companies that loved him and employed him, and he gave his life. Both of them gave their lives. Everybody in the company gives, everybody in wrestling gives their life, sacrifices time, blood, sweat, tears, and in turn they give, it gives them love from the fans and love from the sport,
Yeah.
So it always hurts to lose somebody in the community because we're all tight knit and we all want to see each other do well.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Legendary sportscaster from the Dallas Fort Worth area, Bill Mercer, who those of you who grew up in the 80s like I did, the first ever syndicated pro wrestling show was World Class. He was the voice of World Class.
wow.
Yeah. It's interesting. If you watch those shows, especially in the beginning, him and Mark Lawrence kind of stumble through the whole thing. But if you know the history of World Class, Fritz wanted World Class to seem very legit. So instead of hiring wrestling people to do his commentary and ring announcing, he brought in sports people.
Yeah.
And And so it took Mercer and Lawrence a little bit of time, but once they got wrestling, they got it. And yeah, it just he was 75, so he lived a life, but still so rough.
Yeah, it's been a tough. It's the third. I don't want to count, but just like I said, prayers, and I would like to get to some stuff in the news because it's been a beautiful
yeah. I mean, we should probably
time in sports.
Foreman too, though.
Foreman as
Unfortunately,
well. Yes,
yeah.
the boxing legend,
not
and
wrestling, but yeah,
well,
he kind of
let's say
transcends everything. So
they're
yeah,
very closely knit. So I'd say rest in peace to George Foreman as well. That was the part that I was kind of a little taken aback by as well, because the movie just came out. Also, one thing I was going to say is that support them. Don't let their dreams and don't let their content go to waste. Look them up. Watch their matches. Remember the fallen the same way we should. Appreciate the people that we have right now.
Yeah, definitely.
But college has been a very big thing these last few weeks, as it is in March. And congratulations to D'Lo's Maryland Terps for pulling out a victory, and every other school that has a team in there, but also
Colorado State.
Wrestling. Colorado State, I actually had them winning against Memphis. That was my one upset that I called. But collegiate wrestling happened. And a shocker because there was a few things that were interesting, but one is technically WWE related. Gable Stevenson, who, as you know, went back for another year to University of Minnesota after having had a stint in the developmental in WWE and also training for trying to be in NFL and tried out for the Buffalo Bills. And he's been back at his home in Minnesota, and his 70 match win streak ended in the finals against Wyatt Hendrickson of OSU, Oklahoma State. And it was very, very good showing, Lord knows. 70 matches in a row, and he was teching people. And also Penn State's wrestler Carter Starocci, unprecedented 5-time NCAA champion.
Wow.
He won it. He won first 4 at 174, and this year won it at 184. So I'd like to say that maybe it's not the type of ring that we usually talk about, but it's in the family.
Yeah, it's like the baby version of it. So kind of a way to showcase.
Part of me thought it was kind of like the minor leagues, but it's the Olympics technically is the very next step for that, right? Because Greco-Roman and freestyle wrestling, but
that's where they transition to. Yeah.
Do they still do that professional amateur wrestling? Do you guys remember that? It was
sparingly.
So there was a TV show and they called it professional amateur wrestling, and they got amateur wrestlers and they paid them.
No, actually, I don't actually remember that at all.
It was crazy. It was like sometimes like they had matches in Russia and whatnot, but the matches would take place in the street. Like a crowd would surround them in a circle, and that would kind of be the mat, and they would wrestle.
People just met, and if you met each other in the street, like it would just be on site.
No. I mean, it was matches that were set up, but how they would do it is
like a backyard brawl.
They just had yeah. It was really strange.
They put that on a mat, I imagine. Where would they get the mat? They just carry it around.
I don't know, man. They didn't show all that. They'd be like, now we're going to Serbia for blah 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 versus blah blah blah, and you'd get there.
Yeah, get the 12x12.
Yeah, and there'd be people around it, and they would be wrestling, and it was people who'd competed in the Olympics and stuff. I guess they looked at it as a way to make money and not.
I guess so.
Not go to WWE or whatever. Yeah, it was.
That's probably the original WWE, I suppose.
Yeah,
right. Underground. That's probably with the underground.
Oh,
stuff.
sure, yeah. Hey,
You
it
say
looks
that,
similar to that.
I was actually going to mention when you said the hybrid wrestling, I was going to say GCW. You mean like Bloodsport? Because that's pretty much what it is. But it also segued to something that I'd seen. There's two wrestlers that are announced for GCW Bloodsport. I think it's Bloodsport 12. It's X111. Is that
13.
13? Okay.
Yeah.
And Gabe
13.
Kidd, who is rising in NJPW and is part of the Bullet Club. He's part of the War Dog.
Yep.
And Pete Dunne,
Ooh.
FKA Butch, he is going to be a GCW Bloodsport.
Ooh, a
Snapping
WCPW
fingers.
reunion. Ooh.
That's what I'm saying. So
Natty's
it's
doing
pretty
something with
cool.
him too, right?
They can run it back.
Robin?
Natty's doing something with him too. I saw Triple H make an announcement that he was proud of.
I think we
Yeah.
had spoken about that a little
Right,
bit
I thought
because
so.
we were talking about her book last week,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, I believe she is also making. But Bloodsport specifically is the one that's like a MMA breed. It's the one where Josh Barnett and now Bishop Dyer, formerly known as Tom Pestock, formerly known as Baron Corbin.
I also seen something where they added Carmen Patrick was added to the card. I think
Oh,
I've
Parma
seen,
Petrovic?
yeah, I've seen
Interesting.
a little
I was about
link.
to say
On the
they're getting
Bloodsport? Interesting. I
it's
wonder if,
teetering the line, This
yeah.
is
I mean,
this
she
is
does
starting to
the,
look like WWE's allowing, we already talked about Karrion Kross going to wrestle the Benefit for Bay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for real. She tweeted. She said she's
Mhm.
gonna be at Bloodsport 13 too.
Nice.
Okay. Okay.
Also, for announcements, as far as announcements for shows, it was announced already that Swerve's title shot is going to be April 6th.
Dynasty.
So it's
Day after my
coming up
birthday.
day after your birthday.
Yeah, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
51.
Oh shit.
That'll be a good birthday gift for the next night.
Yeah, for sure. I've got some cool stuff going on for the first couple weeks.
I imagine you have stuff cooler than watching Dynasty.
Yeah, watching AEW. But, yeah.
Like, hold on, guys, can't go to the club. Dynasty's on.
AEW.
Oh man.
Party.
And I do like the picture that you have on your screen. The people that can't see it, it's a John Moxley screaming in agony.
Yeah.
And a bald AEW donning a shirt that says AEW, which is pretty much I would say the common. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
that's what me and
now
you were
looking
saying
at it.
before we went on.
Yes, it's what most people were doing, or the expression people were making when they saw this happen live, or if they saw a replay of it, or if you even see the picture. Because right now I'm making that face.
Or by accident. Or by
Everybody's face.
Yes, so a guy is making a grimace because they're watching Wheeler Yuta and the referee try to pull out 100 nails out of John Moxley's back.
Man. So,
yeah.
since you brought it up, I do want to comment on that, and then I'm going to take this picture down because I don't want to leave this up the whole freaking time. It's gotta be something.
I'd say let's jump right into it, Keith. How do
Yeah.
you feel about a spot like this being on a Dynamite?
Okay, so first of all, it was the middle of the show.
Yes, not even the main event.
Right.
People
Not
had
even the main
recovered
event.
from that. Like insane placement. The second thing is, I think the whole point of it was to show like grit and to show like Cope and Mox and how serious and real they are. But as I noticed and I pointed out to you guys, Mox turns to Wheeler and says, "Go do the spot."
Yeah.
And then he said it again, "Go do the spot." And it was zoomed in on him saying it. So people were already, I think, disassociating from it because of the brutality of it. And now, like, you've ruined the reality of it. I mean, I guess he had to get him down there, but there had to have been other ways than just blatantly yelling it. So
Maybe
yeah,
he
I
was
think
just in pain, so he was
he was just like,
impatient.
that's what I was thinking too. Maybe he was just like, just go, get out of here, But yeah,
Well,
I don't think it accomplished whatever it was they were trying to accomplish.
If I could come in on that,
Johnny Boston loved it though.
Ayo.
He's not here, but he loved it. So
of course he is. He
Shout
loves
out to
that
the Bostonian.
rowdy stuff.
They love unnecessary violence in Boston.
He
We know
loves it.
that.
Yeah, they do.
Yes. I would say that this is a makeup for the night, the pay-per-view that they had, Revolution. This is making up for what it wasn't. And what it wasn't was a main event. But what this wasn't is a middle of the show match.
Right.
I don't think you're supposed to have your best thing. So it's funny that the one that should have been the main event wasn't the main event. And the one that shouldn't have been was. It's
Right.
just it's
Obviously.
nonsensical. Megan Bain and Chris Statlander didn't have that good of a story for it to be, but like to have to follow this.
I was
But
getting ready to turn
also,
the show.
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
But
I was streaming it, so I didn't
just
know what it was. I was like,
just looking at it and seeing
that
how
was
much they did, this could have gone so bad.
Yeah.
On a physical toll, it could have been horrible. And watching them try to take out jagged, dirty knives, they don't look clean. To take them out and like to have that just on a regular show, like obviously, I think what it wanted to do, it wanted to make up for how lackluster the main event of Revolution was, but B, they wanted to put some more emphasis on violence. Like it's like deathmatch stuff. They wanted to make Spike look better, I suppose. But also, here's the weirdest part:
Spike.
Moxley won.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Like
put over
Moxley
Spike.
won. Moxley made a Cope tap out from the same thing he made Christian tap out too. Which I don't remember the name. It's a
Bulldog choke.
bulldog choke. Okay, it's the
Yeah.
captain's hook when Brian Kendrick used to do it. I remember that. But yeah, it was nasty. D'Lo, how do you feel about that spot that we had to see?
And freaking insane. Why? Oh my god. I was just like that guy. I was just shocked as hell, like for free. And I was just like,
For free?
on a Wednesday? In
For
a
free on a
snow.
Wednesday.
And it was
In the
cold.
he drove in the snow
Right. It was a whole snowstorm.
to go
They
get
had
impaled
to get meet Spike. Hi.
in front of 4,000 people.
There's another thing I've seen. I think you might remember Plank. Well,
Yeah.
Plank and Spike meet. If they can
Oh, the meme. Yeah, that's funny. I see that. Yeah.
Plank and Spike meet. Oh man.
Spiked plank.
But that was insane. And I'm credit the ref, man. How did he get that? And he ain't had to credit the ref for getting that out of mouth, because I knew that was how to get.
It looked ugly, pulling the skin and all of that.
Yeah, he had to go see all that. Had to
I expected it
maneuver
to
and
look a lot
had to
worse
get it
when
out
it
of the
came
way,
on.
shit it out of there. It was just
Mhm.
wild. Ugh. I'm surprised he didn't bleed out the rest of that, man. I'm not even gonna lie. But
I guess they wanted to make him look tough, but he already looks tough. He's beating everybody. And yeah, maybe this prematurely ends the Cope feud and they can move on to Swerve, but it's a very weird way of culminating this. Also, it makes apparently only person Cope could put over was somebody else from WWE that is already over, I suppose.
Yeah. But Dax though, getting mad at Edge at the end, I was surprised. He was like, "Man, F this. I did all this for you. I did all this for you, and you
FTR split.
Take it out like this and not gonna win."
It looks like it's gonna be FTR against Edge and Christian.
Interesting.
That's what it looks like. Like maybe Edge is like, oh, I've been literally burying everybody since I got here. I have no friends.
And the last thing that made sense to me was, why did the Kip and Nick come out to help him out? Ain't make no sense to me. Like, why you ain't doing it on the pay-per-view? It was weird. I don't know. That ain't make sense to me either.
Kind of like what I said. It just feels like it was making up for what it should have been at Revolution, but this doesn't do it. This kind of cheapens it.
Yeah.
Also, it's unnecessary gore. Like I don't need something like that. Like for views. I think that's the worst kind of views.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Like, let's go viral.
Speaking of titles, I would like to say fellow War Dog of Gay Kids, Clark Connors, won the vacant Defy Championship that used to be held by Ricky Starks, now Ricky Saints. So congratulations to him.
Well, nice.
Yeah.
For him. Congrats.
Palate cleanser.
Palate cleanser, exactly.
Some hard work.
Thank you very much.
Gotcha.
I'd like to also say that Mark Henry signed a nostalgia deal. WWE.
Of
Is that supposed to be the new way of saying legends deal?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for
He's
him.
getting
And he
action
does have
figures.
he does have his son in the developmental, I suppose. I'd like him to actually make some more appearances and possibly in WWE. It'd be cool. Just do some strong stuff, like just lift people.
Arm wrestle baby.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah. Arm wrestle
Also, I also seen that Jamie Hayter was released from AEW.
Oh,
yeah, but that's only been reported by one source, and there's
One source?
nothing confirmed.
Nothing
Yeah,
confirmed.
okay.
nothing confirmed. I think that
I wish that would be the case, though.
Yeah.
I'm jumping at the bit for some of these talents to go somewhere where they can be used or appreciated in
sure.
Penelope Force's case.
Okay.
To be honest, I was watching TNA. Did you guys check out TNA at all?
I haven't seen it since last week, unfortunately.
Chavo made an appearance because
I
they were in
saw
El
that.
Paso.
Oh, Chavo.
Exactly. But here's the funny thing, right? Here's the funny thing about it. AJ Franchini, as Keith Miller likes to say, he said that if he wanted the second best Guerrero to show up on TNA, he would have called his buddy Dom. But then, and this is even the crazier part, Chavo said, well, his mom did get around.
Whoa!
And Eddie was a handsome guy.
Oh!
Oh!
Damn!
So I want to ask D'Lo, is this fighting words? Is this fighting words?
This is scrapping
Was that
words,
necessary?
bro.
Is this fighting words?
Oh, this is scrapping words, bro.
This is
Ray might be
fisticuffs.
showing up
You
on
gotta
TNA.
throw it in. Nah, you gotta go there without the masses. Like
Keith.
just go hand.
Now I want to ask Keith really quick, and then I'm gonna ask D'Lo exact same thing. Who do you think should be more mad?
I mean, oh wow, either Ray or his wife
or Dominic.
Dominic. Wow, Dom kind of plays into the whole thing. With the haircut, the mustache, and he wears Eddie's shirt sometimes. So I'm going to say Ray because Ray has to defend his and his wife's honor.
That's absurd. To say something like that is wild.
That is insane.
Well, who should be more mad? Rey Mysterio or Vicky Guerrero?
I mean, if it was Jada Pinkett.
I mean,
even. Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if I was Vicky Guerrero, I'd be like, what are you saying? Excuse me?
Right, hit it with the excuse me one time.
Excuse me. Also, Casey Navarro saying pardon me like 6-7 times. Is pardon me his gimmick?
Pardon me, bro.
No, Leon Slater, I just found out is English.
Really, bro? Really?
Because he came out because the Nemeth brothers were bragging about beating up Matt Hardy and saying that they were the best brother tag team of all time without any titles under their belts as a tag team or pretty much anything. They really haven't done anything as a tag team.
Yeah, and what
not a single thing.
Like,
Ryan Nemeth has his own theme song, and he says, "My big brother."
Oh, he finally got his own theme song.
Really,
That's
exactly. But he's really leaning into the little brother thing, which is kind of
yeah.
weird. It's like an anime. It's like Oni-chan. It's like,
no way, brother. Oh no way, brother. Oh no.
yeah. I hope Senpai notices me and stuff.
He's really trying to pick it back off of this, bro.
Mm.
Oh gosh. But
But I would say the best brothers were Los Guerreros, but it was uncle and nephew. It's kind of like LMFAO.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
It's funny. I did think that they were brothers when I was younger, but obviously I found out after the fact.
Right, because one of them is Barry Gordy's son, and the
They
other
were-
one is Barry Gordy's son's son. But they're like pretty close to age, I think.
right. They look. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Oh,
One, I don't know if you've
I
seen this,
think
D'Lo, and maybe I'm typecasting you a little bit because we probably have the same. No, actually, Keith, you're in the chat too.
I'm here.
You're in the African American wrestling chat also.
I am in there. Yeah, man. Hey, because it's
Oh my
also for
God.
people who support African American wrestlers, man.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
But
we
I just kind of find it funny.
Yeah, I'm in there, brother.
But there was a viral video, the viral photo that a guy who seemingly was down bad.
Oh
He
no.
texted this girl under her photo. He was like, being down bad, being thirsty for the lady parts. And he said, "I would arm wrestle a bear for you." And then the second one was, "I'd fight '09 Randy Orton for you." D'Lo,
And then Randy Orton. Yeah.
D'Lo, who would you rather fight for the honor of some rando? A bear or '09 Randy Orton?
Which bear am I talking? I will take the black bear at best, but I will take the bear because
Take the bear.
That nigga was ready to go punt anybody in his way and was
What?
ready to.
Randy Orton just chase you down on his knuckles, like crawling. Just going really fast. Slithering. He's slithering like a snake. He's bald.
Oh, watch out! Watch out! Watch out! Oh my god!
That was a good
What a
impression, though.
devastating spear!
Keith,
Oh,
who would you rather fight? A bear
Um,
or '09 Randy Orton punting people's dads and girlfriends?
man, can I just back away from the situation?
No, both of them are faster than you, and both of them have somewhere to
Yeah.
be in 5 minutes.
Fair.
And so they need to finish it quick. Like, I'm on a time crunch. I have a live event against Ray.
Did you see that Randy Orton actually replied to that tweet?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He gave some love. He's like, "Bro is really ready to die."
Right.
He's ready to die for you, man.
Because Randy Orton knows. I love how much Randy Orton leans into the IWC, the Twitter and X posts and all of that, and why not?
Yeah.
Like, it's a way of getting yourself over when you're not having to sacrifice your body and cause harm.
I remember the one of him and Soldier Boy.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Randy Orton has a good sense of humor, and that's considering that he is known to being one of the most vile villains. The guy he's really likable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gucci Soldier.
Shout out to good Nepo babies.
Yeah.
He earned it,
Yeah.
Shout out to heel John Cena versus heel Randy Orton one day.
One day.
We're hoping for it. So, should we talk about Cena?
Why not? You brought him up, and he's there behind you anyway. So
Mhm. AKA the bottom of the rock.
yeah,
As Randy Orton said, you see how Randy Orton was poking the bear a little bit, no pun intended, but
yeah, he was laying into it like I would never saw it like that.
But I like when they make little jabs when uninitiated to be like, yeah, I'm thinking about you. At some point, it's going to happen, and you're going to be champion when I do it.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about John Cena's heel turn, Keith? How do you feel like how it's going so far?
So I think that it's funny that so many people took that promo as something more than a promo.
Oh, like he
Like,
was shooting?
like he was shooting. Yeah, like jaded wrestling fans. Oh, he
Mhm.
spoke from the heart. But of course I am like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't believe anything that I see on wrestling. Especially not promos. But
Well, you
but
don't
yeah,
think they can
I
bleed
mean,
a little bit? Not to interrupt, but you don't think they can bleed into real life, kind of like how Dolph Ziggler's when he was facing the Miz, and you could feel it.
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
think you could feel the genuine feeling in some things, maybe even?
Maybe. I don't know. I think that even the stuff that is real
Mhm.
gets discussed so much and gets distilled for TV. I don't think we've had anything really real since Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
Oh,
You know, like
really?
that level of hatred. Like those guys were firing cannons at each other.
Well,
Uh,
are you talking about the hatred, or are you talking about the
no,
like the
no, I'm just
wrestler
talking about.
themselves?
I'm saying that I believe that their stuff was genuine. Yeah, I believe
Okay.
that because of the hatred. Um, but
You don't
yeah,
think
I mean,
Cody meant to call Cena a whiny bitch?
I think he knew that people would laugh. I think he knew that people would laugh and be like, yeah, no, he did it for pop, 110%. You know,
Oh yeah.
um,
You didn't need a cheap pop in a crowd like that though. That
right,
crowd was
sure,
going
sure, sure.
insane.
Yeah, but yeah, I believe that. Oh yeah, that Brussels crowd was
Yeah, it was, it was
nuts, man.
electric.
Um, but yeah, I think it went over really well. I think that he's doing a good job. He's doing such a good job that I wonder if he's going to have to be a heel now for this whole run. I don't see how he can come back from this, but it's wrestling. So
It
Yeah,
depends on how much of a run it is, but
yeah,
you wouldn't expect him to go out as a heel.
you wouldn't, right?
no, I don't
But
think
what does he do? How does he come back?
Yeah.
Does he
D'Lo.
turn on the Rock?
I know I can piggyback on that.
He's
So
going to have to turn on the Rock. I mean, I guess that would work.
yeah, the Rock will have
Hey,
to
The Rock is
screw
going
him.
I
to
was
have
gonna
to be
say
like,
He's got to screw him
I
somewhere.
said Cena was the Rock's bottom, and then you said he has to turn him on. It was like
Yo, that was kind of crazy.
again, it's just
and I
a
was going
string
to
of Ayo.
make
It's like
a,
his
make a, I was going to
biggest make a
say
wish.
that Cena has to really be under the Rock's thumb.
He has to undo all his make a wish.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
The
can't
Kenny
say
on his
that.
stuff bad.
D'Lo, how do you feel about Brussels, Belgium, which was Brussels, Belgium? Yeah.
Yeah, it was about
How do
that.
you feel about their new first look at a heel Cena live?
They really let us have it how they felt about seeing us saying F you a bunch of times. So you know how that feels.
Mhm.
And some of it, I felt like he was holding back a little bit because he was always thinking in my head, like, man, I had to do all this shit. I had to work all this time. He was talking about all the time he missed. He thinking all the things he was doing. He was like, man, I missed all that. So, and you don't appreciate me after all I done? You try to think like you did this to me after all I've done?
But does he not have a point though?
He
After a
has a
while, like
point.
as it kept going, did you not kind of say, "Hey, you're kind of right."
That's what I was saying. Like, I understood at one point. Like, you know what, John? Will you play? I'm
How about
like,
you,
John,
Keith? What do you
he's
real
a man.
quick? What do you think before I say
Yeah.
what I think? But what do you think about was he? The more he spoke, did you start to see him as a heel that was like a lovable villain, or did
Well,
you think he was a whiny bitch?
so here's the thing, right? Like in the comic books, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Marvel Comics.
Okay. I'm
Thanos wants to wipe out half the population
yes.
because he wants to bang Death,
Yes. Which they
and
didn't
he's
want to
trying to
show.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's trying to show her
Mhm.
his love. It's like a gift. They knew that no one would be able to sympathize with that villain in
Yes.
the movies, so
Very
they
much so.
made
Yes.
him. Yes, they made him an environmentalist, basically.
Mhm.
Um, and that's the same thing. Like the best villains, you can see their side. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, man, maybe people have been treating John Cena kind of bad. Maybe people have been treating him like a puppet.
Mhm.
like a toy, which he said
Yeah.
twice. And
Like, do a little dance for us,
oh, I can't see you. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
where are you? Where are you? It's
yeah,
just floating clothes.
Well,
yeah.
Oh.
So I
bad
mean, yeah.
places. So
Uh,
long.
Mhm.
I think he had a point, and I think that's what makes it such a compelling thing. You can see it. You
Mhm.
can be like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Wouldn't have gone about it the way that you're going about it, but I get it.
I would also say the thing I did talk about last week about how running is a babyface thing. I am very happy he didn't just run and that he got to soak in that. Didn't even
Yeah.
acknowledge the cameraman. Didn't say anything after he did the towel where he showed that my time is now, or my last time is now, or my time is up, or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
the
But I
lifestyle.
really liked what he did. To be honest, I was wondering what way they would go. I was talking. It's funny that you mentioned comic books because shout out to Emo from Capital One and Mall of America that I like to talk wrestling about. But we were talking about how John Cena is the one that's actually going Homelander and not Cody. But I said he's actually Injustice Superman. He seems like where he's just gonna like I don't care what you little people are saying, not calling little saying little people like peons, peasants. Like I'm just going to do what needs to be done because I am the superhero and I'm done with this toxic dysfunctional relationship, as he said. I'm done with this fact that you want everything from me and all that you say is save me from my boring life. Save me, Superman. I'm falling and I can't help myself. Save me because you're so benevolent, even though I do nothing for you. I think it was cool when it came out. I was hoping for two things. I was hoping that he would mention more of why he, joined The Rock, or if it even was about The Rock. And I wanted Cody to talk a little more, but I think because of how so many chants broke out, it was like 5 minutes worth of chants, different chants, Cena's like the Let's Go Cena sucks stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys got it, but one of the chants where it was something that people just couldn't understand, but it was in like a song chant. Do you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
remember where that's from?
Nah.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up, but don't you know,
Oh,
pump it up. But I remember he had pump up sneakers. That's a
I
European,
remember that when you said,
Europe,
"Oh my gosh, that's
European.
wild."
Back then in
yeah.
the '90s and all of that,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Europe
yeah.
was huge in America, and like LaBouche and Hadaway and all of that.
Right, sure.
It's funny that they did that.
What's it based? Eiffel 66,
hmm I was 65. I think it is Eiffel 65. Yeah.
65. Yeah,
Yeah. And it was funny. It was funny to see that how many crowd they had a chant for everybody.
they
Right?
did.
And they knew
They
every
did.
song. Most of them probably don't even know the words.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
I mean,
most of
Seth
us don't know the
Rollins,
words at this point. Like,
automatically.
Yeah.
I think Seth
Nah.
Rollins could have stayed in that ring and they would have sung
Mhm.
his song all freaking night, dude.
Oh, you mean in Italy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That
yeah.
was a good showing as well. But yeah, it was interesting. We'll see. It's the second week is coming up of John Cena being heel, and we want to see him at another international place. I would like to ask Keith first, why can't we have an ovation like this in America? Why do they have to go to Australia? And why do they have to go to all these different
That's
countries
tough.
to get an ovation like this? Are we just as too spoiled as fans?
Yeah, I think part of it is
Yeah.
because they only see these guys on TV,
hmm
whereas they are constantly touring in the United States.
hmm
Um, so, I mean, think about it if WWE was based in Europe and they only came here like once every 3 years, we would lose our minds.
Right.
So I think that's part of it. Um,
Maybe that's a little different for me because I like my favorite artists of all time. I don't have any want to even see them live. If that's
Yeah, I
weird.
mean, honestly, but for the crowds who go,
Mhm.
like I don't go to live wrestling very much. So, but obviously for people who that's part of what they do, that's the thing too. Like you see the same faces
Mhm.
and you have forever. So there's obviously people who go to these shows and have been going to these shows forever. And they're just kind of like, oh yeah, I've seen this,
Oh, I
unfortunately.
guess. D'Lo, how do you feel? Are we desensitized as fans because we see it all the time? And because I can get what Keith is saying. There's only so many times that anybody in those countries is seeing matches. Then again, there's also thousands of people, maybe hundreds or thousands of people that are seeing those for the first time in America. But it does make sense that a country, but they have such unique chants as well.
Cause they be
Yeah.
like they be they were like really big in
But
football.
where do they get
That's what
these?
they big. Football.
Yeah, I guess
That's
yes,
like their national sport over there. Like
and that's the thing.
international all
Okay.
around. It's big over there. And I'm in of Spain, so it's like humongous over there. So they take everything that seriously. That's like their like our football. That's their football. It's big. So, but
And
it's like commonality. It's not that common. They come over there. So definitely agree with Keith on that point. So like once every
okay.
while, I think it was the first time I've been to Italy. Right?
I don't remember any time they've been in Italy before, no.
Or like a long. I think they said maybe '08. I think maybe the last, but I
I
don't.
was gonna say
A long
they should
time.
have brought Santino, but I don't even know if Santino's actually from Italy.
He's
They'd
Canadian.
probably everyone. They'd probably be like, "Hey, Latino, you ready to
Uh,
fly?" Or
I
even
don't
So
know if you
why
guys,
why wasn't
if
he
you,
part of La Resistance?
I was a little too late.
They had to get Robert Conway,
Oh God,
Albert
Sylvain
Conway,
Grenier, and Rene Dupree. This is like stuff
he the
that could
one.
only happen under Vince McMahon. Shout out to those crazy bad gimmicks.
Yeah.
That's funny. Also, speaking of Santino,
Shout out American too.
speaking of Santino, I was watching
oh
the
man,
some clips of the TNA, and but I also seen NXT where he mentioned something to his daughter about NXT guys messing with the TNA people too much. And
yeah.
then JC Jane attacked Masha Slamovich while Tessa Blanchard was claiming her stake to the title.
Mm.
Is there going to be a crossover attack WCW WWF type thing going on with AEW and TNA? I mean NXT and TNA?
A takeover, like
I'll ask D'Lo first, I would say. If you need context, Santino went to NXT, which is 2 days before TNA, and he was like, "Get your stuff together, or we're going to handle the situations when they happen." And then Thursday, Santino announced after JC Jane attacked that JC Jane is fighting Masha,
mm.
and
Interesting.
Tessa is banned from ringside because JC Jane attacked Masha, and you don't know if it was because she's on the side of La Racista. But D'Lo,
Wait, so
if we get an NXT,
hold on,
what's
hold
up?
on. Wait, hold on. So JC is on her own with Tessa and doing with
No,
Fab.
no, they're saying that for some reason Tessa is banned. JC Jane did not make a gesture to Tessa. It wasn't sure that she was working with Tessa or she was just working on her own, which is weird. But Santino was also like turned to Tessa and he's like, the world doesn't revolve around you. So when
So
JC
you're
and
banned
Masha
too.
fight, you're banned. You know,
That sound like Santino
He's
right
just
there.
banned
That sound
everybody.
like Santino right there to a T. I can see
I
you
was
doing
hoping he was going to say her name like Tessa Blanchard or
Yeah,
something crazy. But
switch on.
do you think we will get D'Lo? Do you think we will get a big crossover for the WrestleMania weekend,
Yeah,
TNA and NXT? So
yes.
was it
I
Bound for
feel
Glory coming up, and then it's Stand and Deliver?
bound for stand and deliver. Can you see if they combine
Bound
it?
for Delivery, Stand
Yeah,
for Glory.
for delivery.
Stand in glory. Yes, we can have it all. I think that Slamovich, I could see her invading one of them shows and trying to get at the core and like see how and try to get a title. I could see that happening.
I think it would be cool. Like it would be kind of early for the you know, the combination, this unholy union. Shout out to the team that doesn't exist anymore. I can use that saying now.
Yes.
The unholy union of TNA and NXT. Do you think it's too early to do a cross
You gotta
brand?
strike it while it's high. You gotta strike it while it's high. And you gotta keep pressing and see if you. They already been teasing it with the little system for they've been all ran around Bucks Bacon folks. So they've already.
Yeah, and yeah, Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan.
Yeah,
Shout out to
them.
Gigi.
I seen them.
They showed up with Lash
Okay.
Legend Jakara Jackson, and they're going after the tag team title. So there looks like
Oh,
what I
so much
asked for was kind of came to fruition because I was hoping there'd be more involvement. But Keith, I'm gonna
TNA
ask
still
you,
on
how do you
Twitch?
feel?
Is
What's up?
TNA still on Twitch? Or they still on Twitch? Or they like?
I don't know actually.
Cause I remember they was on Twitch. Like that was like 5 years ago, and I was like big on heavy with TNA, but I ain't been on that ever since. So I've got ass, and that's my last remember it being on.
But Keith, I'm gonna ask you now if you can tell me,
Yeah.
do you think
Well,
we're going to get a cross brand, like a fully
I
cross
wish
brand pay-per-view?
that Santino had called JC Jane something like Juicy J or something. That would have been great. It
I
was
want him to
right
say
there.
everybody's name on the roster.
Juicy J. You know, something. It was right there.
Just rattle off
I just
all the
called him by a
wrestlers.
regular name. I was like, that sucks.
I'd
But
buy his Patreon if he just sat there and pronounced words.
yeah, him and Jericho. Jericho used to do the thing. Dino Machino and
Mm-hmm.
you know Stanko Malenko, Kirk Angel, or was Kirk Angel? Kirk Angel was Jericho, right?
That he said Jericho, or Jericho
No,
said that to Kurt
Chris
Angle.
Jericho used to call Kurt
Kurt
Angle Kirk
Angle, Kurt
Angel.
Angel.
Yeah, he'd
Was
be
it
like Kirk
him?
Angel.
Ooh,
Anyway, uh, yeah. I mean, it seems like it. I would think it would have to. You know, at the very least, they're going to have some kind of a big uh, crossover match.
But do you think it's too early if it would be? Yeah, granted, it's the biggest time of the year, so it would be a nice time to do it.
WrestleMania time? Yeah,
Exactly, but do you think it would be too busy? It's a great way of getting people on a big card that won't be on WrestleMania's card. And 2 nights of WrestleMania is a lot of matches, but still not as many as one AEW pay-per-view.
I feel like they have to establish. That's funny. I feel like they have to establish things.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to make sure it makes sense because I mean, right now you've got the Rascals and Wesley, but they've pretty much put that to an end.
Yeah, it's concluded pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got different girls coming in and kind of leaping over Tessa Blanchard to get shots at Masha,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how that leads to a match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we'll definitely get a tag match, like with a bunch of NXT and TNA for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe a rubber match between Moose and Oba.
Oh, that'd be fun.
yeah.
You know, I'm just thinking about the possibilities. But then again, if that's the case, what I would want is like a Survivor Series. Remember? No, the Night of Champions. Remember Night of Champions?
Yeah.
Where the WWE or what used to be Survivor Series, like what Survivor Series is kind of doing now, where Gunther fought Cody.
Yeah.
But I would want every single, like the tag champions of TNA, which are set to fight Faxium again, I'd imagine. You know, they need a rubber match. And, you know, Masha against Stephanie.
Or pull double duty.
I was trying to think about, she's pulling double duty because she has 2. And what else?
Just a tag chance. Go for the tag.
I'd love to see it, but then I wouldn't know where Hendry would go because who would he fight?
Hendry Oba?
No, because Oba's fighting. Oba would do the rubber match in Moose in my head.
Moose will probably have to fight. Spears.
System against the Culling. System against the Culling actually could be good.
That could be
Yeah,
fun.
he gonna have to fight him that's
because
like
Oba
second-
doesn't have a group. Then again, Oba doesn't need one.
Yeah, Oba is a group.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, he's a monster.
But it'd be weird because then it'd be cross. You'd have the mid card against the main, and then the main against the mid card. So it would almost be too obvious that the main would beat the mid card.
Wait,
Would
they
it
got
not?
two. They got two top. Wait, X
Yeah,
Division?
the X Division title and the Impact like heavyweight championship
All
because
right.
they got rid of the Moose retired the
I remember he was at TNA.
black title. Yeah,
Mm.
it'd be
Bring it
interesting.
back, Moose. They call TNA again. Damn it.
Mhm.
Have you guys seen the Obafemi Jr. guy on Evolve?
No,
Was
there's an Obafemi Jr.
There's a football player who's basically doing Obafemi's gimmick on Evolve.
like the
What
Nigerian
is Oba?
everything.
Much the same.
Literally just the Nigerian Nightmare.
I mean, well, he comes out like oof, and he runs over people. I mean, he moves like, and he makes faces like Oba. I mean, it's yeah.
Well, that's something you can't.
Yeah, but I
He
feel
should
like
do
they
more. He
might.
should do more to differentiate him because if
Yeah,
you think
yeah,
that, I imagine
yeah.
more people do.
Yeah, it'll change. We'll
So I
see.
get that. Yeah, I get that.
But if Oba needs backup, you might want to call that guy because he could use a little bit. He can just
Insurance policy.
yeah.
I hear that. I would also like to say, former LAX member Homicide. Have you guys heard of him?
Yeah, I seen it.
He was forced to retire because doctors had found a cyst in his brain. Whether it's benign or it's active, I don't know, but that's something that really is not anything to play with. And hopefully he has a successful surgery to remove it if that's what they're going to do immediately. Which I would imagine is something that you'd want to take care of sooner rather than later.
Sure.
No,
Right. Yeah.
One of the best. Man.
Mhm.
187.
Amazing. Him and Hernandez and Conan and being so good, like trailblazing for Hispanic wrestlers that aren't in masks,
Yeah.
and
Ain't be imposing.
And Homicide was a hardcore wrestler who wrestled.
Mhm.
So
Was he in did he make WCW and ECW appearances or anything like
so.
that?
He did some TNA stuff.
I know, yeah, he was definitely in TNA because they all
Yeah.
were at one point, and he was very fun to watch in TNA.
I think JCW and ROH were his biggest
Yeah, I say
indie things, and then
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, he won the world championship there. Shout out to that. Was he like ain't he like the inaugural or one of the first champions? Like I think of that.
In ROH, maybe.
Yeah.
I know Xavier was one of the early champs in ROH
Okay.
too. I
Shout
don't know
out.
if he was the first one or not, but he passed away a few years ago too. So
I would like also because I like to shout out HOG because they're from New York.
yeah,
There was a dream match, as Indy Hartwell would say. It was Indy Hartwell against the picture behind D'Lo, David Logan's profile, his video, Mercedes Moné. Indies had been was known for saying that she would definitely want to wrestle. It would be a dream for her to, and something that she wanted to do, and she ended up losing. A good effort, and I think they did. There was a few other things that happened. Zilla beat Dijak, who goes by Donovan Dijak again. And Danhausen got beat by Mantequilla, which means butter in Spanish.
Yeah.
Private Party won. And the main event won a career versus title match, beating the Cold Blooded Killers. So they're not retiring, I suppose. So good on them. I just like to mention that some good indie wrestling is going on, and it's in New York. Shout out to me and Keith's hometown.
Okay.
Homicide was
home of the Yankees.
champion. Man,
What was he?
He was the 8th world champion ROH. So
Oh, okay.
kind
Oh, okay.
Where was Xavier on there?
Xavier.
Was it 1 or 2? I imagine he was
Xavier's number 2.
2. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was gonna say. I remember he was number
the first one
2
and the second one. Yeah.
because
first,
Loki, exactly, because
and then
Loki
Joey
was also the
number-
first. He was also the first
Mhm.
A2G champion.
and he's still the longest reigning ROH champion. Joey's Samoa Joe,
Yeah,
645.
Joe had that go
Mhm.
forever, dude.
Yeah.
Man, he
It's in
built.
Ambrose, right? Aries
Yeah,
took
he
it from
might
him?
have. Yeah, he made a world ride when he was defending. They say he defending in London. So shout out Joe.
By the way, if I could do another relevant segue, did you guys see what happened in Slam Dunk? It was called Slam
Oh,
Dunk
I turned it
Saturdays.
on.
The
I
collision.
was going to watch it, and it wasn't over yet, and I needed to go to bed. So I was like,
I
well,
ain't get
That's a real thing, though.
I ain't get a chance to peek at it.
I
it
was
was
gonna
shot
say
well. It looked
because
really good. Like the
not a
lighting.
bad card at all.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
want.
not a bad card either, but they did it well.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people they could have gotten because March Madness is March Madness.
Right.
It's
Right.
awesome, baby.
But I wanted to mention that Samoa Joe's, stablemate, as they would say, Hook, came out for the best wrestler alive gimmick that Matt Caster does, and Matt Caster is a loser.
That's still funny.
Shout out
He's
to
the
light
best
skinned people
wrestler alive.
taking
He never
L's this
loses.
year.
He's
Good
probably
Lord.
number one in that regard.
Dang.
Dude.
The only Drake that's won this year is the team that beat Memphis a few days
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
For some reason, I didn't think
Drake.
the team that was 30-3 would win the first round because it was called Drake. I was in the Mall of America and I passed a booth that was playing Not Like Us, and I was like, what the heck is going on?
Wow. That's worldwide, man. You know,
A minor.
Hey, no.
like good.
Yeah, I'm Team Kendrick. You know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who would be?
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Sal
Wheelchair Jimmy,
Houdini,
man. Shout out to
Roy
Wheelchair Jimmy.
Woods.
Shout out to Wheelchair Jimmy, though. That's the real shit. Real.
Wheelchair Jimmy.
Shout out
It's
to
funny
real-
because I was a Degrassi fan when I was younger and I was watching it. I remember that when that episode came out and I was like, yo, did you guys see what happened? Nobody saw. It's a Canadian TV. I used to watch Noggin. And
Yeah,
shout out to Radio
Oh,
Free
God.
Roscoe and all of those
Yeah,
other.
Oh my God,
Roscoe.
Roscoe.
Awesome.
I used to what that girl
He was
kissed
awesome.
everybody and I was mad because I wanted to kiss her. Like, yo, why do you have to have so much drama? Why do you got to kiss everybody?
Renegade Press. You ever watch Renegade Press?
Yes, actually.
Oh, I love Renegade Press.
I did radio back then, so it was kind of funny. And obviously, the guy with the hair that kind of looks like me.
Right.
I was also mistaken for Mo Salah again at the Mall of America.
I'm not even sure who it
It
is.
happens all the time, actually. It's okay. Shout out to athletes that look like me.
There you go. I look a bit like Barry Windham, I think, when I shave.
I can't see that.
No,
Mainly
you can't see
because
the Barry- and I
Maybe
think old
because
Barry
I've never
Windham
seen
might be
you.
Barry
I've never
Windham
seen
right
you.
now. Not
Okay, I got you.
not like hot '80s Barry Windham. I'm talking about fat old man Barry Windham.
That's the only Barry Windham that matters to me.
Yeah,
I tell you. Oh
oh
my goodness.
that was a version.
So what I want to ask you guys is that, Keith, you first. What are you looking forward to in the wrestling world this week?
So what I'm looking forward to is Fallon Henley in the main event on NXT, even though she's going for the secondary title.
Oh, so she chose the secondary title, or is
Yes.
that the one she actually?
She wants a rematch for her North American Championship.
Okay, well, I guess that makes sense. That's the only one she qualifies for, if you think about
Yeah,
it.
and Jada had actually already claimed the match for the world title, for the NXT title. But I think that it shows where Fallon is on the card.
Yeah.
That Jada Parker is going for the world title. It's opening. And Fallon Henley is going for the North American title, and that's the main event.
That is weird.
I don't know if Fallon's going to get her belt back, but
I have a feeling that if you do a
Stranger
double
things
one
happen.
like that, well, if you do a double one like that, especially a woman that is a part of a group,
yeah,
group
it's
that
proven
is-
that in years. Yeah,
but here's the thing that I wanted to pose maybe because they're trying to get the TNA Tag Team Championships,
Yeah.
maybe they don't help JCJ because they're worried about something else, or they're not even there. They're
Or
in
maybe they
Team
don't have
instead
talent.
or something like that.
Yeah.
But I
The other
feel like
thing that
it could definitely be a title change.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, why not? Stephanie doesn't need both belts. She's already made her point.
Unless they want to give both to Jordan Grace after the Stand and Deliver.
Fair, fair. I think it's funny that Vic Joseph just sucks so bad. And he said to Booker T, he said, you were the WCW World Champion and the US Champion at the same time.
Wait,
What's
what?
it like to hold both belts and have to defend them in the same night? Booker T literally won both those belts on the freaking last
Wait,
show.
what? I was about to
He
say
never defended
he
them.
closed it out.
Yeah, he won them on the last show. And then Booker T played along. It was like, oh, it's hard when you got to wrestle two wrestlers. Big Joseph was
went
the
with it.
dumbest person in the world, dude.
Right, he was in this.
Oh
That
my
was the
God.
season finale. That was
Yeah.
the.
That was forever. That was the end. It was done.
Oh man.
I hate that guy
What do
so
you?
much.
He should have said, "What do you mean? I still have them."
Yeah.
But he took them from me.
That US title was at my house, dude.
Yo.
Charmel's wearing it right now.
Yeah.
Nothing else, just titles.
Yeah.
I
D'Lo,
hate it so much.
how do you feel about this week? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I was looking forward to Miss Parker and Miss Stephanie going at it to start the show, cause baby, running back,
Yeah,
running back, yes,
that's
that's what I was
good.
looking forward to.
Booker T is going to have a fit when he sees Stephanie do that move.
Oh, can you imagine Stephanie doing that move to Jada
And the
how
angle,
that's
and you
gonna look?
see Jada and
Yeah.
Stephanie. Ooh.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you for finishing my sentence. Because I was in La La Land thinking about that.
Gotcha, man.
What I will say is that I'm looking forward to the second Cena promo to see if there's more of a change. I do like the fact that he, just circling back to his promo, I like the fact that he said, you guys don't deserve a new song with my voice on it. And you don't deserve new gear because you dress like me, I don't dress like you. So the fact that he answered my concern, that I was like, it was mainly the running part because it's not a heel thing.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, when I want to see somebody who's like a serious heel, I'd like him to look like he's not some perpetual 15-year-old from the 80s dressed in jorts and a hat and a t-shirt, a graphic tee. My guy.
At least he's got his hair right. That's a start.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to The Rock, he was
He got
able to
sell his soul, get his hair.
Rocky, where'd you get this hair? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
And then Ridge Holland wakes up. He's like, wait, what do you mean? Where'd it go?
Ahead, man.
Where'd it go?
My pin for mine.
I'm not to mention it again, right? Because we went through it, but John Moxley doing that on a regular show.
He needed Jack Daniels.
Right before Megan Bayne and Chris Statlander. And also, that just segueing that, it's way too early for Megan Bayne to lose to Toni Storm.
I don't know what they. Oh,
I don't think Toni Storm can lose it this early. That would be absurd.
So
It should be
DQ?
Megan Bayne.
DQ maybe?
Possibly, but then what do? Do you prolong it until when? Like, she already had a short reign before this. Granted, she is 4 times, so it doesn't matter how many many months, but I would like a longer.
That's all in.
Like holding it for a bit. She's still fun. Yeah, like
Yeah.
her and Mariah May blew their load with this feud where they don't have to do anything for the next year, and they're gonna be okay. They're still gonna be hot. She could take a break and like 4 months later be just as hot because of how much we all universally loved that match and that feud. At least that's how I feel. Maybe Chad probably thinks different, but he was sleeping during the whole thing.
Yeah.
What would happen? I've been asleep for
When
6 months.
when she cut that promo and was like, the hardest role you'll ever have to play is yourself. So cool.
She
Like,
won. This is considering that, granted, I think it was too bloody of a match for a
well, the
match
main
that
event
wasn't the main event.
here.
It should have made it. Should have made a bet. Not gonna lie.
That's the part that really killed me. That maybe they did they do this on purpose? Did they just not want Mox and Cope to main event twice in a row? And if so, you could have
Yeah,
you could have
I
made
don't
sure
know.
that wasn't the case by making sure Revolution
Opposite.
ended the way it should have been.
Maybe Alice.
The biggest story, the culmination of a big story, should happen
Right.
at Revolution. It's just
Yeah.
weird. But yeah, it was something we already talked about last week and a
And
little
the
bit this week.
segue.
But
Imagine a segue in the Hollywood ending and then end scene, and then just go to black. That would have been the perfect ending.
Right.
speaking of those, I was gonna say those combine the Stand Deliver and Bound for Glory, or it might not.
Bound for delivery.
I kind of wanted Fraxton to face the Hardys, but it looks like they might be fighting the Nemeths.
Mm-hmm.
The Hardys, yeah.
Hardy
Yeah.
Network. Mm.
How do you feel about Ryan and Nick Nemeth tag team?
You know what? It's to fulfill Ryan's dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the LeBron and Bronny. Like LeBron wants to stick around to play with his kids and all of that and be on the same team, and that's how it kind of seems because he's leaning into my big brother. It's like,
Yeah.
but is Ryan Nemeth not I don't even remember much of his matches. He
I only
can
seen him
bump.
wrestle 3 times, and he ain't do much in all 3 of them.
Exactly. He was part of the Premier Athletes, I think, and he wasn't really doing much.
Even them. It was Avalon. He was with them dog folks.
Oh,
I
have
remember
yeah.
him, like, I remember the
Bonani,
ring.
Caesar, and that other guy.
Caesar Bononi and yeah.
Some other guy. I can't forget his name. But
I think
remember,
he might have been a part of a few different groups that just didn't go anywhere.
yeah, he was just doing whatever they can try, and it was like, nah, he ain't flying.
Didn't he hide under the ring on a WWE show and help Nick Nemeth win a match? Or am I thinking of somebody else's brother?
Well, pull the switcheroo.
Did he help him? I think he might have helped him when Ryan Nemeth might have helped him win a match recently. Or he came out to beat up Matt Hardy with Nick Nemeth in the cage, which I like that spot.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah.
But it was that strange 5v5 that we talked about last week, that main event, and at least it leads to something, because if that's all it was going to lead to, that's what it seems like, that and progressing a little bit of Joe Hendry Elijah versus the system. But if that's what it led to, then yeah, I think that was a cool spot.
Nick Nemeth being in a tag team leaves Joe Hendry with no one to fight, which we've talked about that a little bit too. But
yes, I was going to also wonder, is it too early for Elijah to turn, or is it going to be a random person fighting? Who's fighting Joe Hendry?
Yeah.
John
Cena?
I would have loved that, because I thought he was going to lose in an elimination chamber, but apparently they're going this way, and it's the money way. It is the money way, if we're thinking about it. Yeah, but like I said, I'm excited to see this second promo, to see if he just goes and does the same thing just to get the ovation, just to get the love and mostly the hate.
Yeah. I'm here and I still don't like you.
I do like how he went after the people that liked him, the sympathize, because he was like, no, I don't want to be liked by some and hated by Matt. No, I want to be hated by all of you. I want all the animosity. Like, get all the
smoke.
Yeah, what?
He made babies cry.
He did. Was that a pause-worthy thing I said?
You say he want all the smoke?
Hey, he wants all the hate.
Yeah.
He smoke.
Yeah. I was about to say, but that's how a heel should be, like.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I do agree about they haven't liked me since everything, you know, when he was the wankster rapping, or when he was the prototype, or when he was the nice guy, the forever hero. But part of me thought the toxic relationship he was going to mention was Vince McMahon. But then he said no with the fans, and then I was like, okay, I'm listening. And then he started to sound a little silly because I was like he was just sounding like all you do is hate me.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
so mean.
But that led to Cody being able to call him a whiny bitch.
I'm not invisible. I'm right here. I'm standing right in front of you. Acknowledge me. And then Roman Reigns is like, hey, copyright. He's like, no, not again.
The same stupid invisible joke for 15 years.
It's not funny. That's hilarious that he just says it's not funny. But I'm wondering if he's going to do anything specifically relevant to the city they're going to be in, or the country they're going to be in. Do some crowd work. Maybe speak, because he speaks other languages, right?
I don't know.
You know, he speaks Mandarin. He speaks Punjabi. He speaks. Maybe he learned Spanish.
Right.
You know, maybe he learned French. Yeah.
Okay, Tom.
Just say something like that. Just interesting because there's so many different ways this can go. I'm just hoping that it goes somewhere.
They all gonna be in Scotland.
As far as going somewhere, though, D'Lo,
yeah,
what is going to happen with Alexa Bliss?
I'm gonna tell you this: she's gonna shock everybody and show up in the battle royale. That's what I'm gonna see.
The Andre the Giant, whatever.
Whatever the women's battle royale. Yeah, that's
the women's. Okay.
Yeah, whatever
I
that.
guess so. And the men's, just show up in the men's too. Or why not?
Might as well. You know what? Might as well make it a little.
This is what I want to pose, right?
Be spooky.
Specifically, what I want to get at is she's been rocking the same gimmick with the puppet, right?
Yeah.
We all know where that's from. We all know what that's referring to, and we all know what that kind of alludes to, that she's still a part of the Wyatt family. When are they going to do this? When are they going to pull the switch, like pull the trigger on this and make her the sixth? Because in my eyes, she was always going to be the sixth. As in, like, her gimmick would be that she was possessed by the soul, like the spirit of Bray Wyatt or something, like, and like it's in the puppet, or like, you know, her destiny was to fulfill this for him or something. But for her to have this gimmick and not even have a single reference. She does the mannerisms like in Elimination Chamber. She does the mannerisms where she's like kind of demented and all of that. And she's so D'Lo, like, are we going to get her and Nikki Cross going back together? What do you think?
A demented Bliss with the Wyatt Six. Like, she could be the puppet master in a type of way. And controlled by the puppet saying, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, Lily. Yeah, let's go back to our old friends.
Oh, yeah, that is her name, Lily, yeah. Or she just or the gimmick is that she still lives there or something like that. I like them to make some sort of reference because Wyatt Six isn't doing anything.
Yeah, they disappeared. Cross put them to sleep.
It's frustrating. I'm almost starting to feel like some of them are going to get cut before they even do another promo.
Or even show up on television. Shit,
like, we had active wrestlers wrestling after they were fired. And like, we haven't gotten 5 characters that they had a story for.
They
can't make room with they're putting LWO on every weekly and Los Garzas and Pretty Deadly, and you can't squeeze in some Wyatt Six.
I don't know who they can fall up with to be spook too that they haven't done in the past. There's not a lot outside Bliss.
At this part, I don't want them to go. Maybe. I don't want them to go after factions. I want them to go after like actual people at this point. But
I mean, Braun maybe. That's probably the
It's
closest.
got to make sense, though. That's the thing. It can't be for a title because Bo hasn't won a match in 6 years.
Right.
Since he
Like
was
a,
with Curtis Axel.
probably, and probably even then he wasn't winning.
I remember them the beat scene. They won that a little stretch.
Yeah.
That was at it.
Yeah, but Kurt was the one that was usually making the pins.
True.
Keith, how do you feel? Keith, do you think that they're squandering, or do you think it's going to happen at some point, or because Alexa doesn't have anything going on? Are we going to see
Yeah.
something for the Wyatt Six?
Man, I don't know. I feel like the Wyatt Six is less than an afterthought at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, other than Nikki Cross and Bo Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
none of them really ever got significant TV time. Eric Rowan years ago, but
Yeah, part of a tag team.
right
Yeah,
with the
and
tag team expansion.
Loomis
Yeah.
not as much, even though there was potential, and Gacy was head of Schism, so he did have some, you know, we got to see his bag. We got to see what he can do on the mic, and we got to see what he could do as a character and as a wrestler.
Yeah, I just
I'd say the least of them was Bo, even being
for sure
NXT
Bo is
champion.
definitely
NXT
yeah,
champion was like 12 years ago. He's a completely
right,
different person.
right,
He's also
right.
wrestled the least in the last few years, and I get it. Granted, you were setting up all this story, and now you have to change it drastically, and maybe it's left on the cutting room floor because they can't figure a way out or figure a way back in this case. But Alexa
Yeah,
Bliss has to be it.
yeah. I mean, they
So
try it. I really don't know. I think is Dexter dating Indy Hartwell?
I thought that was like a kayfabe thing.
Yes,
Okay.
I think that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
Because
how
I
you
know
gonna
that
feel
they
now.
posted some videos that they were working out together and stuff.
Oh,
So,
that's nice.
yeah.
Well, I
So
remember he had a
also,
shirt of Indy Hartwell. Like he made a post of that,
yeah, and
and
then they've been
so.
hanging out.
Mhm.
That's
So
good.
it almost
Nice.
well, no, I mean to me, it almost seems like if they're not dating, like maybe he's preparing to be gone. Like that's
Mhm.
how it felt to me, even if that wasn't the message that they were trying to give. You know,
I
so,
just don't understand paying people to not have them on TV.
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah,
It's strange, and maybe I can get if they don't have a direction, but you got to do something at this point.
there's 3 shows.
Yeah,
There's
this worrisome part is that you can't have a gimmick tag team like that without story. Otherwise, you're just throwing in creepy characters for regular matches. That would make sense. Like, oh, there's a tournament and like random people are in it. Oh, here's Bo.
yeah, and like if you think about Undertaker,
Hmm.
he always had a story.
Yeah,
Someone
because
was
if he
always
didn't have a story, then what was he doing in the ring just having a regular match? They're
yeah,
not regular.
yeah, yeah,
Like
Right.
even none of them could be at the Royal Rumble.
right,
Mm,
yeah.
Not one.
nope.
You couldn't put Rowan there to be one of the big guys, or you couldn't Nikki Cross.
Right. Why wasn't
Yeah.
Nikki Cross in the women's rumble? Weird.
It would have been amazing because Alexa. What if Alexa Bliss was in the ring at the time and then Nikki Cross comes out?
Yeah.
But then you'd have to show her as a wrestler, even though it's like the last thing she is. She's like a possessed demon thing.
Right.
Can't do a collar elbow tie as a possessed demon.
Yeah, bite the bit. Yeah, bite.
Yeah,
Good
like
point.
it's just so much potential. And
God, Nikki.
can you even get back into it? Like it's difficult to see how it could rebound, and unless they have something groundbreaking, like it seemed like that first few like interviews, how real that was.
Yeah.
They better come up with a story. It was like, oh, Bo lost, and he kind of went into like a tailspin and all of that, and he had to fight the demons and go on a journey or something. I don't know.
Yeah. As long as he's not drunk.
Mhm. Very important question as well. Who is in the mask? Not the Jim Carrey mask, but I mean the American-made mask.
Ray Phoenix.
There's actually Phoenix. It's built just like him too.
That is wild. This is the fact that I also heard some rumblings that they don't want to do the Ray Phoenix gimmick because A, there's already a Ray and it's Ray Mysterio, and B, there's too many masked people.
Yeah, man. I would love it if it was Ray Phoenix. If it's just Chad Gable, that sucks.
But then how do you introduce Ray Phoenix after that?
I mean,
how we know? Like how would we know it's him?
Right. I mean, he's the master who taught Chad Gable Lucha Libre, like the Dark Secrets.
Right.
It would be cool.
Yeah.
It would be, but it was like then what would happen? Would that just be like a fatal five-way, like American Made and the Lucha Bros? Like how would that even work? Are they even going to make the connection that Penta and Ray Phoenix are brothers?
They may not. But maybe they will.
They may not.
You will be like, I went to your own brother and he taught me the secrets.
Is it even important? That's kind of a thing that I want to ask.
I think
is it even important?
You want to use it, know, but yeah.
Because remember with the Wyatts, with Bo and Bray.
Yeah.
I say the Wyatts, but he doesn't go by Wyatt. Bray was the only one that went by Wyatt. Bo was Bo Dallas, but they never acknowledged it.
Right.
Is it even important? D'Lo, what do you think? Do you think it's important for them to mention it?
They will if it incorporates into like this my brother who I've learned the Lucha Libre rights things from, or the dark. He can go dark like Pentagon can have his little
like Penta Oscuro, when he did the Oscuro and Lucha and became the Black Mask, which maybe he'll reprise.
He may.
Could be cool because that was a really cool, like very demented, like lover of violence Penta. If you guys haven't seen Lucha Underground,
he loved to snap everybody's arm.
Oh yeah, well he did that from the get go, but like Oscuro, like he was a different intensity. Keith, what do you think? Obviously there's been brother tag teams forever.
Yeah.
But would it even be a smart idea for them to kind of, because maybe that pigeonholes them? Obviously, there have been brothers that have gotten out of it and become champions. We'll see Jey Uso become one at some point. But
I was.
Yeah, exactly. He will be. But is it important for them to mention, or will they even mention that the Lucha Bros are actually Lucha Bros?
I think it depends on where they go with it. Like if Ray Phoenix is under the mask, which I think would be really cool. I think it would be stupid if it just ends up being Chad Gable. I think there has to be a mentor that he actually went to. And it would add another dimension to it if he was like, I learned the secrets from your brother, you know what I mean? But if not, I mean, they don't have to, Did
American Made, or not the American Made, but did the guy in the mask, he jumped in on the Ray and Dragon against the New Day, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, does Chad Gable have anything against the New Day? But no, he has something against Ray.
Yeah.
And
luchadors in general. He hates luchadors. All luchadors.
It's interesting because if he hates luchadors, he should be very much hating the person that's like in the American Made mask.
Right.
So maybe there's a twist where they're like, yeah, I'm trying to look for him too, and this is property stealing and
like, gimmick infringement, damn it. What the hell?
He made this for me and then he stole it, and he's got to figure something. Yeah.
I think it's weird that Ivy Nile calls him Master Gable.
Master Gable. Yeah, it's a little Princess Leia type stuff.
Yeah.
Ivy Nile also, didn't she wrestle
Dakota.
Just
He's
recently, Dakota.
got kicked
Yeah.
by
he's
time.
famous.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't
Coach on
got
win streak.
We
They
still
let
don't know.
you-
So I wanted to. We did figure out who is going to possibly be wrestling at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental, but last week I think I mentioned that we don't know what we're going to be doing with the secondary titles on in WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
But it looks like what is it going to be LA Knight against Braun Strowman
Yeah, this Friday.
for the US?
Yeah, this Friday on.
Oh, so it's gonna be this Friday. Okay.
Yeah, this Friday.
If it's main event, I think Shenanigans and Braun Strowman actually wins it
Mm-mm.
because there's been a trend. There's been a trend where they've just had certain titles change hands, and
Yeah.
I could kind of see that because it's not glued to LA Knight.
Mm.
He also doesn't need it.
Yeah.
You know, he already has. This is a second run, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's do you think Jacob Fatu makes his way into that match, or does he fight solo? Keith, do you think he fights solo, or what is Jacob Fatu doing in the maybe Andre the Giant battle royal? Or but it looks like he's gonna have a story because he's beefing with people.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like they're heading towards solo.
It looked like it.
Yeah.
It looked like it too. Especially the way Solo screwed Jacob on for the title shot on Friday. I'd have been pissed too. Like
Yeah.
I was about to do some more damage, and you come in here and ruin my moment. Like, come on, bruh.
They're making Solo look like a loser even more than he was when he was losing every match.
Yeah, it's even
Because now
worse.
he's making
Yeah.
other people lose, and he's they're showing him and making him look like he's just a mess up, like he can't
Incompetent.
do anything right.
Yeah.
He's in a funk and can't get out of it. He
But
slipped.
the women's main secondary titles,
Hmm.
they seem like Chelsea Green fought Sol Ruka,
Yeah.
Yes, that was a good match.
so
Yeah.
it feels like that's going to be a floating title between there, which in that case I kind of like because it gives some love to NXT girls, and Chelsea Green can actually win because
Mhm.
there's not many people on the roster that she can beat, from being honest.
Couple.
Like I like Chelsea Green. Like she's fun, right? I'm
Yeah.
not sure about her gimmick with what it's called, the Slay
The secret herpes.
secrets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Janafi
secret
was
herpes.
fired in the mix. And
I get what they're getting at. It's cool, you know, very hip, very with it.
Yeah.
But it's what is she going to do in WrestleMania weekend? Is she going to be on a NXT card? Is she going to fight somebody from TNA? Is she going to And then Lyra Valkyria looks like she might end up losing to a Raquel.
oh yeah. I don't know.
Oh no.
I don't think about that. I think she might eke it out or a screw job where Lara retains. I feel that's gonna retain because I don't think they're gonna get off that belt yet till at least WrestleMania, and then at least solidify at least a first one.
Speaking of Judgment Day, are we getting anything with Dom against Finn, or is Finn going for the IC, or is it Finn against Dom against Braun?
I think it's Finn and Dom, bro. I feel
Yeah.
it. I feel it's Finn and Dom. I feel it. I would love. I can see happening like maybe a 3-way, and they accidentally cost each other the match, and that's when it will blow over. And that's when everything would just be like, get out of here, dumb. I like you, fella. Get him out of there.
I feel like it was supposed to be JD that helped Finn against
Yeah.
Carlito and Dominic.
Right.
So if that's the case, they might, because you see the dissension. But I just want there to be a story for the IC going into WrestleMania. I feel like, yeah, they have a month, but I'd like there to be a bit more emphasis on it and It's so much so that I forgot Braun is the champion.
Right.
Oh, he just spear people, so hey, bark and spear. Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna say it's like watching Goldberg all over again because Braun can wrestle,
Right.
but
Couple of eyes, man.
I'd like to see a little bit more of a story. Somebody that is on his level that wants to maybe go at him. But everybody, like, Drew's
And
not going to pay attention to the Intercontinental because he cares too much about CM Punk. Roman doesn't because it's beneath him. Seth doesn't because it's beneath him.
it should be Braun and AJ, low key.
Hey, yeah, that'd be fun.
Should be
That
Braun.
would be, well, how many times can we see a phenomenal forearm into a spear?
Right.
Or he'll catch him and do like his daddy's power slam and then spear him or something like that. But I'm,
It's one time. Honestly.
Intercontinental is my favorite title, and I want to. It has the most prestige
Yeah.
because all these other championships are newer. But I'd like to see what's going on with that, and then Shinsuke is getting buried like a time capsule.
Bullshit, scary. Oh,
Shinsuke at this point should just ask for his release, or why doesn't he go to Bloodsport?
take his anger out on whoever.
Well, no, he was an actual MMA fighter, so why doesn't he actually just fight somebody there? Like him against Tom Lawler or him against like um I think his name is Elijah Guthrow now, but formerly known as Jack Gallagher.
Okay, he's there now. Really?
Well, I don't know if he's
I
there,
did see
but
he
they're
transition. I did see he transition.
yeah, but the thing it's not that they're there, it's that it's a lot of the people that do GCW Bloodsport, like they're not even a part of GCW. Like they just get people that are legitimate fighters. And Shinsuke is a legitimate fighter. I've seen a few of his MMA matches. And the same way that Pete Dunne is a bruiserweight, strong style Nakamura could do really well in Bloodsport. I would just like him to win. What he lost to Damian Priest this week in that tag match, right?
Yeah, it depends. And then Drew beat the piss out of it again.
Like I understand wanting to make wrestlers look good, but in the expense of all of these talented wrestlers, Carmelo can't catch a break. Shinsuke can't catch a break. Like in other, obviously there's so many other wrestlers in different companies that are on the wrong side of losses, but it doesn't even seem like it's that, like even the system that are known for being losers a lot of the times, they even get wins here and there. But I'm talking about Shinsuke's not winning at all. And like Carmelo Hayes is getting embarrassed.
Yeah. I think it's wild how quickly they gave up on Shinsuke's US title run.
I feel like they had to because there was not much there.
Yeah.
But also they probably wanted somebody bigger than Shinsuke at WrestleMania with the title.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think Braun Strowman's that much better.
He is bigger.
But if it's LA Knight, then maybe it'll be a four-way between LA, Shinsuke, Jacob, and Braun. Just fantasy booking. But then we have so many multi-man matches, multi-women matches that yeah, exactly.
Because they've announced Seth and Punk and Roman, right?
Yeah.
Like that's official then?
Yeah.
It's pretty much because CM Punk did the obligatory point.
They all did it. Them all did it.
Which I don't really care for. And I was watching the promo actually just recently. And for one, Paul Heyman always has such the weirdest looks when he's staring at Roman. He looks so weird.
My tribal chief.
Bobby, he has like an evil look. He's like, I don't even want to make that face.
Paul Heyman creeped me out. I would not sit on his lap or go anywhere with him if he offered me.
Hey.
I wouldn't want him. He's a married man. I don't want him to have anybody.
Heyman claws. Don't want to be Heyman claws.
No, Heyman claws. He'll find ways to. No, he only gives the naughty people gifts.
Yeah.
A bounce check.
He gives nice
it creeps
boys
me
the
out.
ECW
It always
championship.
seems,
CM Punk did mention the favor,
Mm.
but then he said no, it's not time yet,
Ooh,
which
I
makes
got
me think
something.
that it's not even involving Roman Reigns.
It
This
is.
makes me think it might be down the line against a certain invisible superstar,
you know.
like CM Punk being in having Paul Heyman in his corner against Cena. Because he's big fish hunting. He always talks about how Seth Rollins is little fish to him, and like
Yeah. Yeah.
why would he think that little Roman Reigns is any better? Maybe he's going after the guy, that he had the best feud of his life against.
Yeah.
Mm. I was
Yeah.
gonna say I was gonna go a different way. It's at WrestleMania, and he comes to help. The Wise Man helps CM Punk win, and I think it should be an elimination match, low key. It should be an elimination match. Like,
It'd be cool. You don't see those anymore. Like
bro,
that and Iron Man matches. Like, why don't we get like an Iron Man match at for the Intercontinental? Like, do something different.
yeah, it's been a while since I've seen one.
What I'm wondering though is that because before this happened, before this triple threat, which I knew I knew was going to happen even before the cage match, because my gimmick is that I'm a writer for WWE,
Mhm.
so I already knew.
Oh, they hiring, Paulo.
I already knew exactly.
Hey,
They hiring.
Well, I'm not for sale. So.
That's
But specifically though, I was hoping that Roman would help Cody beat Cena the same way Cena helped Cody beat Roman. But which still could happen if night one is Roman versus CM Punk versus Seth, which I would imagine it would be. But now this seems less likely. Now I don't know how Cody can win.
I don't think Cody's gonna win, bro.
Also, I would love Cena to mention that it's back to being the FU from the AA.
Yes.
Attitude adjustment is not a heel move. The FU is.
Right. Definitely.
I think that'd be nice.
yeah,
Lord
for
knows.
sure.
But we're looking at a month into a WrestleMania season. I already got the 19th and the 20th off for work. I don't even want to sniff work that day because last year I had to leave. I had to leave work from Prior Lake
Ooh.
to get there in time to see Tiffy's Royal Rumble entrance. And then there was another time in WrestleMania that I had to run to WrestleMania and I missed the cash in. And I was super upset because I wanted to see Damian Priest win it live because I would have been cheering because, like, that's a Boricua from New York, shout out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took off. I sent to my time off letter that I sent my job. I said,
Yeah.
I want off for WrestleMania, not because of weed. I just wanted to preface it, and I was like, yeah, weed will be involved, but I want to specifically, I want to see WrestleMania, and I want to go to the spot, and I got some homies that I'm goading into liking wrestling again.
Nice.
This is funny, right? I got some friends that I mentioned it to them, and they're like, I don't even know where I would start.
Just turn it on.
Exactly, right? That's just the best way to start is to start. Granted, it's like watching season 7 of Game of Thrones
Right.
and starting there, because it's WrestleMania season. Maybe, and I technically after WrestleMania, that Backlash is the best way to start, but you
Right.
don't want to miss WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're gonna be seeing the best wrestling right now.
Right.
And the coolest stuff, you'll see some musical guests probably. You'll see some wild things because it's Vegas. They might bring back the Can Girls and all of that. Donald Trump
Ooh.
might be there.
Oh,
Man.
boy.
Speaking of the two-time reigning defending commander-in-chief and WWE Hall of Famer, he was at the wrestling championship where Gable Steveson lost.
Oh wow.
That just happened. Yes. So Wyatt Hendrickson from Oklahoma State University
Oh, boy.
actually saluted Trump and
Oh,
shook his
boy.
hand.
Oh.
So it's
Okay.
interesting because
Oh, wow.
Trump has been making, he was the first active president to go to the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
And he went to this.
Hmm.
And since we know that he's best friends with Vince McMahon, do you think he's going to be at WrestleMania?
Oh.
Because Stephanie's still involved and Stephanie's family, but do you think that's too weird?
I don't know. Maybe he'll show up at the
It'll be in Vegas. He has a hotel there, no?
Yeah, he did throughout that.
You know what I'm saying? It's interesting, and I don't want to always mention the two-time reigning defending commander-in-chief, but he is technically wrestling news.
Yeah.
And if he made it to the Super Bowl and he made it to a wrestling championship, it wouldn't be,
Yeah,
it wouldn't be far-fetched to think that he would go to the Super Bowl. He used to always go to UFC, I would think.
But he was at one like right
Recently?
after he won.
Yes, he was.
Right
Yes,
after
he was
won the
because
election.
because one of the fighters actually saluted him in the front row.
Yep.
So he's being, in the know, like he's outside. As the kids would say, he outside.
He outside.
We outside, man.
Yeah, we outside. So that's something to wonder, if they announce him, be like, ladies and gentlemen, and he gets booed into oblivion.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
He's gonna be up there in the booth with Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan's gonna pay him $10,000 to be with him.
Oh, he's not gonna be at WrestleMania.
I want to hear Tessa Blanchard type heat for Donald Trump at Super Bowl. They're gonna announce him. Please welcome WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Maybe sitting next to WWE Hall of Famer Mike Tyson.
Oh my God.
Those are two New Yorkers right there.
Yeah.
I'll get you.
I am definitely top 5 New Yorkers. At least top 4. Modesty is my greatest superpower. But
Donald Trump as well.
Donald Trump definitely loves himself. Some Donald Trump.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I would also want to ask a non-question because we did mention a non-wrestling question because we did mention Maryland and the Terps. Who is going to win the Final Four? Who's going to win the March Madness, the NCAA tournament?
Well, one of my brackets, I got Florida, so I'm going with Florida.
I got Duke. Keith, do you pay attention to it at all?
Fuck
not as much as I did in the 90s.
Auburn. It's pretty fun though. Yeah. Auburn is not a bad choice though.
Yeah.
And also, how are the Detroit Pistons doing?
Oh, baby. Man.
Them and the Warriors are absolutely killing it right now.
Game,
yeah, I was gonna say. I think I messaged you that day. I was like, you see that?
Man, well, hit it with a ball, but yeah, man, they're in 6th place, I think, right now, which they were like 14th last year. So
exactly, them and the Houston Rockets are exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
Do you know who's not exceeding expectations?
The big surprise is the Cavs. I mean, good Lord.
Well, okay. Well, them being super, super good.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They were already good last year. They were already they were already third or fourth. Yeah. I think they were 4th last year.
Yeah, it was 4th.
And then they might have didn't they lose to the Knicks in the playoffs?
No, the Celtics.
Oh, they did. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they got
Yeah, but who expected them to just come in and steamroll through everybody like that? It's just insane.
I
Okay,
want to mention. I think this is funny, but I want to mention something. We had a Guinness World Record, the corniest match in the history of wrestling.
Ah,
Oh boy.
The most corn fit in a wrestling ring since the Tennessee National Corn on the Cob Eating Championship.
With Iowa too. Against
Exactly.
Iowa.
Exactly. So it was an AEW match, four-way dance, as they would say, fatal four-way. It was Mark Davis, for some reason, against Orange Cassidy, freshly squeezed,
Oh boy.
against Cornball Mike Bailey, against Ricochet.
dude, I'll tell you what. You say Mark Davis for some reason, but Mark
Mhm.
Davis was the MVP of that match.
He was great.
Alright. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
He was
I ain't lying.
great. I will
man.
say that, but also it just doesn't. He's the most random wrestler of all time because there's no reason why
Right,
he's ever doing anything.
right.
He comes in and helps with no story involved. Comes
Yeah.
in and like starts bleeding in a match that he wasn't in.
He's gotta be coerced to do
just,
bank
just,
sessions.
I
Welcome
just
to
stepped in to
AEW,
bleed.
dude. You know, welcome to AEW.
If you
Oh
bleed,
man.
my bleed, brother. Who are you? I don't like you anymore. No, Kyle, no. What do you mean they said you're too cute to be in a tag team with me?
Uh,
That's
Uh,
crazy. But have you guys ever seen that much corn in one match? Also,
uh,
why is Ricochet still getting put in a position to lose?
hmm.
fair.
D'Lo,
Yeah.
why do you think Ricochet keeps getting put in the position to come out as a loser?
Because he's rocking a snapback with a suit. That is the nastiest of works I've ever seen in my life. Oh my
Nasty
god,
work.
he pissed me off. Like
Nasty work.
the nastiest. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
A baldy with a starter cap is crazy. Diabolical work.
Yo, I'll be like,
Is it even a snapback? A baldy with a snapback is
yo,
absurd.
he be rocking it with the brim in the back. I'm like,
With the
yeah, I
brim
see
in
his
the
Yeah,
big
man.
back.
ass head.
With the brim in the back. Like he's always ready to headbutt somebody.
Dude, he's obviously rocking his grandpa style from the
It's like
80s.
he's like Ash Ketchum mid battle.
yeah,
He's
he
like,
mid talk. This, I'm ready to
turn
go
it.
to war.
That's wild.
That's why. That's why he put him in position to lose because his outfit choices. He be good with the suits, but why he got the snap back, brother? Like, what you doing?
It's
That's
absurd.
great.
So that's why.
He just has to be a goober. I feel like him and he and Speedball should be in a tag team and call it Corn Hub. I just came up with that. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's hilarious. Word hub.
Definitely Corn Hub with Speedball and Ricochet would be the most flippity flip worst on the mic tag team. They would just take turns, just like you can't understand Speedball because he never takes his mouthpiece out. He never takes his mouth guard out. And then Ricochet, you wish he had a mouth guard in.
No.
Yo.
No, yo. Corn.
Okay.
Wow.
Mike Bailey's wrestling with no shoes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he be messing bad for him.
He's
Like,
bouncy for somebody that doesn't wear shoes, but come on, my guy. Come
yeah,
on.
wow.
Let's be serious, my guy.
Hey, speaking of being bouncy, what is up with Javon Evans?
Hey,
He's
trying to let people know. He's
is he,
trying to let people know what's going down.
Yeah,
he
what
heel
is happening,
turning?
man?
Heel turn Javon
Maybe.
against
Nah.
Trick Williams? I
So
thought Trick Williams was going
did y'all see like Trick Williams just punched Javon in the mouth? He was like, "Look, Javon, shut up!" And he punched him in the mouth.
Oh
Javon
yeah,
keeps getting punched in the mouth. But just the way Javon looks, like the way he's trying to come off, it looks like he's trying to come off his heel.
I think so too.
Maybe because it's hard for him to come off as tough when he's a baby face.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Right.
just wants to be like a tough guy, but he's still a face, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird.
Mm.
But
I don't know.
but I thought he ended up hitting the cutter on Oba, right?
Yeah,
When the
he had
lights
that
went
bad.
out? Yeah, he laid Oba out. So that man, they're
Well,
really serious about this Javon Evans thing.
well,
You know,
Told you.
I was
Mhm.
mentioning at some point that I think that he will be put in a situation to fight Oba in a
yeah,
big card because they're so high on him, but
yeah. Bouncing him.
he has to be thrown around like papers on graduation day by Oba.
Yeah, yeah.
I cannot see Oba
Oh,
losing to
yeah.
him now. In the future, yes, I would like Javon to beat him in the future if they're really going for that. If they're really going for that,
That's
and yes, Keith, I don't see it either.
Yeah,
Like I don't see what they're getting at with Javon.
he ain't
yeah,
really
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
came out.
It's
cool.
trouble.
You take risks and you bounce around a lot, but I
Yeah.
don't see world champion written on you.
I don't either. That's it's
You
so
know,
strange.
North American title, go ahead.
Like at first it felt like, Swerve was like treating him like Ricochet. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like you're nothing. Get away from me, dude. And maybe that's supposed to have made him snap, and now he did straight punch him in the mouth. He was like, look, Javon, we're not friends. Bam. Just
Javon's
punch.
gimmick is getting punched in the mouth at this point.
Yeah, apparently.
He's
That was
just like
wild, dude. I was like, what just happened? But
interesting.
yeah, it was an odd end, that's for sure.
Speaking of interesting booking, right?
Yeah.
Who is Mercedes Moné going to be wrestling now for those titles, or to who is wrestling her for those titles?
Hmm. The streets are
Athena?
saying Athena.
But
And she's gonna beat Athena, and then she's
they
gonna
had
have all the damn belts.
they took pictures together recently.
Yeah, I'm
I seen.
surprised.
Well, I don't know if you caught this, but
Mhm.
and I mean I know it's Twitter, but
Yeah.
uh, Mercedes put out a tweet that was like, "Who trained you?" You know what I mean?
I
Like,
seen that. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh
who's
no, to Billy
mentioned?
Starks. She said it to
Yeah,
Billy Starks
yeah.
because Billy Starks came on and like she was apparently talking. Is that who trying to go after Mercedes Moné, or is she using Billy Starks to get after Athena?
Billy and Mercedes had a match.
yeah, man.
Okay, but is it going to
Yeah,
persist because like they're having this?
Mercedes beat her pretty clean, and it wasn't the best match, so I doubt it.
Mm. Billy Starks is super young. Granted,
Yeah,
she's been
but
doing
the
it for
rest of the
years.
team is
She's been
insane.
doing it for a few years. Yeah, exactly. But
Dude,
I don't know. Like, why? It just Megan Bain against Mercedes Moné seemed like a good choice.
yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be Athena against Tony Storm?
Right.
Ooh.
Are they treating ROH like
that.
it's a secondary title?
They treat ROH like a secondary for most
I mean, it kind
things.
of is, right? Like they're not even on TV.
They're behind a
Yeah.
paywall, and I ain't paying.
But if
Yeah.
anybody was hotter than fish grease, it was Athena.
Right.
And she could come in without having been on TV and be like, "Hey, me and you."
Right.
Look at that.
Thing is though, like
But
with
yeah, they're definitely setting up
Tony
the
Storm
TV
going out,
championship.
yeah, Tony Storm going out and making suggestive remarks to in her Megan Bain thing, and them
Mhm.
just kind of rushing this, and there's not much story behind it. It's literally just, yeah, you're
Yeah.
next.
I'm hoping that her and Penelope beat the hell out of Tony. I'm hoping that that's what ends up happening. Uh, that the match is kind of a schmoz. I don't want.
But then Megan Bain loses it at some point anyway.
Yeah, but
She loses the feud.
uh,
Why not
but
build her up a little bit more?
But
Isn't this what happened
they,
with Ricochet? Isn't this not to mess, but like, isn't this what
yeah,
happened with Ricochet where they rushed the Osprey thing too fast?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like, why are we getting Megan Bain immediately? Like, how many TV matches did she have? 3?
Yeah, like 3. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 or
She
4.
she beat Stat twice,
And then Rosa. And then and then I had a couple
and
squashes. That's it.
that's
Yeah.
enough for her to be next to lose to the number 1 talent in AEW.
See, that stuff happens too much in wrestling, man. Someone
But it
gets a good
definitely
reaction.
happens. Yeah,
Someone gets a good reaction, and they freaking are like, "Oh, we got to jump on this right now." It's like slow builds, man. You know,
but
they
that's
make
exactly. It's like you don't slow. Why not build the Osprey Ricochet and show? Well, I can see why not, because they don't want him to freaking talk.
right.
But like Megan Bain, you don't even know what she can be yet. She hasn't even said a word.
Right. I
She
don't even know what she
hasn't
sounds like.
said a word.
Yeah, I don't even know what she would sound like.
I don't know what she. I know. I barely even know what she looks like.
She fine
She
as
looks
hell.
like,
I ain't gonna lie.
She is the most beautiful face, and she is
yeah,
like
she's a
a
giant, pretty Amazon.
her and Camille should be like
That would be
the
solid.
Amazonian tag team. But I
Yeah,
want Megan Bain to be champion. She has like what I said about who was the one I said doesn't look like Javon Evans. I could
yeah,
say the opposite about Megan Bain. She screams main title, not TBS title either.
yeah,
Granted,
Okay.
I think the TBS title might be the one that's like the harder to get.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and Jade Cargill had the TBS title, and I still thought that was weird. But maybe
Yeah.
because she was green.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Did you?
Wrestling.
Yeah,
I want
speaking of
Megan Bain.
Camille, did you
What's
guys
up?
see what Tony Khan said
I
about her?
did. That was
Yeah,
absurd.
yeah,
That was my segue. But yes,
yeah.
please, if you could.
Yeah, I mean, he was basically just reminding people that the last time that we saw her, you know, she was having a falling out with Mercedes, and now Mercedes is on this run, and it's
And then Tony,
sounding
yeah,
like maybe they're setting it up for her to come back, but it's been
it's,
so long.
it sounded like shade because she was
You
like,
think?
"Oh, because Tony Devani said one of the things he said, I believe. I'm not going to say verbatim, but he
Yeah.
said it would be good if they gave you a chance to talk."
Uh, uh,
Mm. Oh, that's
In
a
that
trade.
same, and I was like,
That's a trade. Trade. Mm.
wow. Yeah, I didn't see
"Ooh."
that.
Hey, ooh, nice. Yeah, I thought that all the way in Maryland. That damn.
Well,
I
you know
was
what the
about to
thing
say I
about
feel that too, though.
God
you know what the
damn.
thing about Camille is though, when she talks,
Mhm.
she sounds like a 15-year-old girl from
Yeah,
Alabama.
she sounds like a higher pitched.
Yeah, she's got
Yeah,
like a
I
really
expect
sweet
that.
Southern accent. Like it
Does
doesn't
Megan
work.
Bain have that?
I don't know.
Does
I'm
she
not
Damn.
suffer
sure what
from baby voice syndrome?
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. She seemed
Because,
like.
but the thing is, though, so did China.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
But China had a roughness to her voice to where it could, probably from the
a little
steroids.
bit, but apparently from Hunter Hearst Hemley's, you know, his his opinion, she was very girly, which I could see that.
That's what
I
everybody
can see
said.
it
Yeah.
too. Heck yeah, I can see it too. I see where
I
I can.
think
And,
it,
and I mean,
yeah.
Especially when she was with Eddie.
if you read interviews with her and stuff, I mean,
Hmm.
she was really, really outside of wrestling,
Feminine.
determined to be a girly girl.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's what she wanted. Um, so she went in a weird way of going about it, but
But if Megan Bain doesn't have that problem, then let her speak and let her win a title. But it's it's so disappointing when they don't give people a chance to like in the storyline. Granted, Tony Storm went into business for herself and made herself unbeatable,
yeah,
you know, and John Moxley's kind of forcing himself to be unbeatable. But give them time to actually gain a story and like gain some love, you know. I would say half the people that watch AEW might not even have known who she was.
right.
We knew who she was, you
Right.
know. Nick Keith did a independent spotlight on her one
It's
week.
actually that was Brent's idea. Actually, just to give
Was
credit
it
where it's
Brent's?
due. Yep, yep, that's
Okay.
Brent's idea.
Shout out Brent Nightmare Ward for for doing that one. And but yeah, I would like to see there be a bit more love. And if Edge and Christian are doing their gimmick again, boy, was this a waste.
Oh boy.
Boy, was Cope versus Moxley a waste.
Yeah.
It doesn't even
Okay,
lead
so
anything.
I just watched the
Was that
Megan
content a waste?
Mhm.
watched the Megan Bain promo. She sounds like a snotty brat.
A snotty brat, a 6 foot something snotty brat.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not- Oh,
Not in like a little girl way necessarily,
Mhm.
but like, she was like, it was her against Cruel. And she was like, Cruel, you may be a monster, but I am a goddess.
Mhm.
And
sound like
going,
Megan
yeah.
off of Drake and John. Oh my god.
It's like, that's how she sounded.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Keith Miller as
Megan
Megan
Bain.
Bain.
Yeah.
Next time you see Megan Bain, imagine Keith Miller's face on her body.
Yeah, do it.
And I hope you never sleep well at night.
Oh,
For that.
oh, nightmares.
Even Keith, actually, I hope you stub your small toe every time for giving me that visual.
Well,
now I can't
I'm
even
gonna sketch you the
imagine her
promo.
face.
Because I pretty much said it word for word. So I'm going to send you the
Exactly.
promo so you can imagine
I'm
me.
gonna hear it in your voice.
Yeah, hear it in my voice. Yeah, man.
That's nutty. That's nutty. Oh no. All right.
Yeah,
on
sure.
that wonderful visual, I as they'd say in Austin Powers, I'm spent.
Yes, felt.
I feel like we've talked about a good amount of things. We talked about collegiate wrestling, politics,
Yeah, man.
Interesting.
men that are down bad,
Horrendously.
men that might be Italian but are actually Canadian.
Fallon Henley.
Fallon Henley. Hashtag
Okay.
free Gigi. Hashtag bring back the shorts.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
And
Add more bells to Mercedes.
all right,
More belts to Mercedes.
five is enough.
I mean, dude, she's probably
Star
going to beat
five?
Athena. I think they're setting her up to beat Athena now. I really do.
Mm.
I just don't know how can you find somebody to beat her that's good enough to be the TBS champion, but not good enough to be the the actual AEW
Yeah.
champion.
Yeah.
It's just as a writer, I can't. I have
Bring in
trouble
the weight.
sleeping at night knowing that there's plot holes and there's no direction. And I want to love AEW and I want to love all wrestling, but you've got to not treat us like we're stupid.
Yes.
You're like,
This is
oh,
important.
number one contenders match between a guy who just got here, a guy that keeps losing, a guy that bled in a match that he wasn't in. The quiet guy.
Quiet guy. Two-time world champion, though, right? So there's something.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. We'll see what's going to be happening. We'll talk about if there's any progression in the John Cena story.
Yeah.
Maybe we see some cool stuff happen to lead up to some matches in WrestleMania. Obviously, there might be a few pay-per-views in between, but I'll look those up as well. But yeah, I think it was a nice. Let's plug a few things if that's the case, because both of you guys have podcasts of your own, so I think we should mention that as well, and then we can sign off and I can play some Madden and maybe get through a game. I keep quitting because I keep throwing in a deception. But that's a narcissist problem. Those are the benefits, though. So, D-Lo, where can they find you when you're not on Roundtable Wrestling?
You can find me on SoundCloud, and I'm on Podbean, and now on YouTube. D-Lo Show. All the names are the same as follows:
Nice.
DLOSHOW. Spell it out for you.
You know, it's weird that you did it like that. You said the DLOS instead of saying DLO. I was like, DeLoss. So I was like, where's he getting it? What is he getting it?
BLON.
And then how? I was like,
I was like, is
I had
it
a rhyme
zero
somehow.
show? And then I was like, no, he only said one S. All right.
I had to make it rhyme. I was like, I had to
There
rhyme
you go.
like that. So
all right.
That's
And
sweet.
Wildman, where can they locate you, Wildman?
Yeah, so Most Excellent Entertainment. We're on Spotify and YouTube. We've also, well, for not just us, but the whole Emmy Studios umbrella, we do have a Patreon. So check out the Patreon too. But
Check out the Patreon. Like us on Spotify if you've made it this far. Thank you very much. And we love giving you the interesting stuff about wrestling. And hopefully we're making your day a little better, because that's really all we want to do, is just have fun and enjoy talking about wrestling, because wrestling is fun to talk about, whether it's good or bad or it's mid, as the kids say, and other skibbity wrestling and stuff like that. But check out all the wrestling you can: ROH, HOW, NJPW. There's always something to watch. Watch something old, watch something new. It don't matter, as long as you get your news and all of that from us. I'll be here again hopefully next week. We'll have some fun stuff to talk about with John Cena, or maybe Santino will pull the plug on this whole TNA and NXT thing. Maybe it'll explode. Maybe
it's like it's over.
maybe something cool will happen. Who knows? Who knows?
No.
Maybe TNA will rebel against the big brother. Maybe Ryan Nemeth will rebel against the big brother too. Who knows? Maybe we'll get big brother against big brother, and then little brother against little brother.
I feel like Jeff Hardy and Ryan Nemeth would not be good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Well, if one person's going to get a win, it would be Jeff, and then if one person's going to get a win in the other one, it would be Nick. So in that case, I feel like it's almost a matter of time where it happens.
So the brother got to pin the brother.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a good match.
Yeah, one brother pins one brother, and the other one pins. Exactly, it wouldn't be a good match, but Nick Nemeth can't fight both.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll alternate, and Matt can beat Ryan Nemeth, and then Nick Nemeth can beat Jeff.
Maybe.
And then it'll be a thing where Ryan's like, dang, I can't win. And he's like, yeah, you are fighting Hall of Famers. And I don't even know what you're at this point. Aren't you just
JBL clotheslines everybody, and Ryan Nemeth wins all the matches.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You got to take control there.
And Tessa versus Masha, I don't want. I don't want it,
JC
but
versus Masha is gonna be good.
I think so.
Jason's
Because got to make Masha look good, but I don't think I want to see Tessa as champion.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Tasha
Anyway.
Steelz.
Yeah, exactly. She's Tasha Steelz, yeah.
Yeah. Or
That's
Savannah.
Yes, Tasha.
That'd be cool. With
I know
either
her.
one.
We'll see. And maybe we'll get some tag matches by the By Elegance gals.
Yes.
We'll see that.
Since they beat Spitstein.
Yes, and they can Gigi and Tatum against Ash and Heather.
What did he call Gigi? He called her something.
Gigi, Santino.
It's like Go-Go or something like that.
Oh,
It was like Go-Go with the packs. Or something. It was freaking hilarious, dude. It was great.
Coco.
I'm gonna have to see what I don't remember what he said, but I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
see
it
that.
was something like that though. Or maybe it was just the G and the packs, but it was it's funny.
Gigi's already a part of my algorithm, so I guess it wouldn't be that difficult.
That's
to
why I
find.
wanted Juicy Jane, but didn't get it.
Juicy Jane. Well, he might say it next week when they fight each other. So
Yeah. Juicy Jane. I hope he does. I hope he's watching this or listening to it. Santino, Juicy Jane.
yes, Santino, make sure you always listen to your favorite wrestling podcast, Roundtable Wrestling.
Yes,
Because
sir.
bands will make you dance.
These chicks clapping, they ain't using hands.
It's big.
Yes. Anyway, on On the wise words of Juicy J, we're going to, Keith, if you want to do a sign out and tell him that we love him, and
We do.
other beautiful lies.
All right.
That's my heel work. That's my heel work right there.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that we entertained you this week, and
Peace out.
if we didn't, come back and give us another chance. But if we did, definitely come back, and we will see you all. You know what? Before even that, thanks Pablo, thanks D'Lo, thanks Tyler Martin, thanks you for watching.
And you sit there and you watch me be great.
Hey now,
Deal with it.
we will see y'all next week for
Peace.
more Roundtable Wrestling.